All right, we're back for another live. Um, Hope everybody's doing well. Hi, hello. Um, I'm about to be joined by Mr. Larry Tang, who is the producing director of Nancy Drew, an extraordinary guy, an extraordinary talent. And I am going to let a few people join in here and then bring Larry on. You know what? Let's just bring him on. All right. Larry, let's get you on here. Boom. All right, man. Ariana, here's your shout out. Ah! I love you guys.
Yes.
There he is. Larry, my man, how are you?
Yo, what's going on?
How are you, brother? You're my first live from a vehicle today.
I am pulled over on the side of the road, just for the record.
Yeah, you have to Instagram live safely, man.
That's right.
You have your seatbelt on? Don't answer that.
It's on.
Okay.
Everything's safe. Everything's so safe.
Brother, how are you?
I am doing great, man. Healing up pretty good.
Yeah. Have you talked at all about everything that happened? Or
I talked about it on my Facebook page. I've not talked about it really much on Instagram. I did a little thing with Stephen Amell from Arrow a couple days ago where I talked about it, and Riley and I spoke about it briefly. But basically, I was exposed to COVID-19 back in March. March 16th to be exact is when I was exposed to it, and then on the 19th I had symptoms, and for 2 weeks I battled it. But I feel really, really great right now.
awesome.
But it's pretty gnarly, and it affects everyone differently. And I know my girlfriend, who also just recovered from it, she had only like one symptom. But I had 12 days of fever. It was pretty bad, but feeling really good.
Awesome.
Like really good.
Yeah, man. I mean, obviously the whole Nancy Drew family was super concerned when we heard. I mean, you were the first person that I knew that had that dealing with the virus, and it was at a time, I think, where things were moving so quickly too. Nobody really felt like they could keep up with it, so it was hard to tell, how dangerous one version of it was versus another. But
right.
But you look awesome, man. You look better than ever.
Thanks, man. It's not the ideal way to lose weight, but I'll take it. As a perk.
Meanwhile,
but like the weird thing is like having like gone through it, I feel like really healthy. My lungs feel really good. Like I feel 10 years younger. It's weird, but I feel like it's like this crazy cleanse. I can't tell you how good I feel.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, man, we're on here teeing up the big season 1 finale of Nancy Drew tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you, brother.
So happy to have you on board.
Oh, man, it's just been a dream job. And I think you would say the same thing. I mean, how you've done so many different kinds of shows. And, you built this thing in so many ways from the ground up. Hey, can you turn your blinker off? Is that possible?
Sorry. Jesus. What's going on? There we go.
All right.
Apologize.
It's making me feel like we're on the clock. Like I got to ask questions fast. But I think one of the things I was sort of saying before was in so many ways, I feel like there can be pressure to sort of create based on a template that has existed already. And one of the things that I think that anyone close to this show admires so much about you is that you take all that into consideration, but then you say, no. Well, this is what this wants to look like. This is what this wants to feel like. Where did that kind of come from with regard to this show in terms of those first building blocks?
I think, having worked early in my career on the show called Medium with Trisha Arquette,
great show.
With just a super strong female lead, and to me, sort of the very beginnings of just having strong female heroes on TV, and then having produced Supergirl also. I think I borrowed a lot from those two projects just because I felt like Nancy has a special skill set, which I would call her superpowers. And, we have to always respect and honor that. And so, to me, it was always about building a show that subjectively played around her, and the
Yeah.
way that she sees the world, the way that she hears the world, the way she observes, the way that she deduces. That was a big part of my pitch was, being very adamant about the storytelling and that we can really get into her head and understand how she figures things out and how unique her point of view is.
Yeah. Well, and I know the very first time I met with you guys on the show, you had kind of a sizzle reel might be a word for it, but just like a look template for like what you had in mind. And I immediately was like wanted to like jump through the screen I was watching just because it felt like such a beautiful combination in terms of the color palette, in terms of the the tones and textures of the thing. Yeah,
I think, when I read the pilot script that Josh, Stephanie, and Noga wrote, it was one of those experiences where, like, as soon as I was done, reading, which is like, it took me like 15 minutes to read, visually it just stood out to me so apparently. Like, there were just things that I saw immediately. And to me, the tone of it just felt a little more mature. It felt older. It felt like there were some darker textures in there. Obviously, there's some bits of humor and all that. But it just felt like, things were sort of pulling me towards David Fincher in terms of inspiration. I was looking at Gone Girl. I was looking at Social Network and Dragon Tattoo. And that was a big template for the style of the show. And then, I was also looking at the way Edgar Wright would sort of do his montages. And so, Baby Driver was another influence in terms of how we sort of did some of the fast cutting. And so to me, it was sort of a hybrid of the two. But I think the visual style definitely leans very hard into Fincher and other directors who sort of are similar to that.
Awesome. Is there anything that has sort of been a pleasant surprise throughout the course of the season that you didn't see coming, or have things gone sort of according to how you envisioned them going?
I think, versus the pilot, I think, I was telling this to Riley the other day, like, having only 2 small scenes with Riley on the pilot, it's really been great to have more work with him and to really expand upon that. The same goes for you too. I mean, like, we've had the opportunity to do such great scenes, like these great character-based emotional scenes that really expand on what the pilot just set up. Yeah. Which is all the pilot really does. It sort of platforms everything. And now that we're in series, and the fact that, the writers are able to open up these characters and to really explore their points of view, and then for me to be able to direct that with you and execute that, that's really been a surprise in a really wonderful way.
That's awesome. Well, look, I'd want to say, I'd say this over and over. Anytime I'm talking about the show, I talk about you. I feel like you're such a huge part of the source of why this thing works, why it feels like it feels, looks like it looks. And, I think I speak for every cast member when we know you're directing an episode, it's just like, it's like coming home. And
Thanks, man.
I've just loved working with you. Is there, we've got some people hanging out with us now and some more people will watch this later. Is there anything you want to say on the, leading up here to our season finale to any fans of the show?
Look, I think it's been a wild ride. I think, I'll speak more for the writers just because I'm so proud of what they've done. I think the fact that they've swung for the fences almost every episode, the fact that we have these huge reveals and these huge revelations, I just think it's so great to see a show do that. I remember telling Melinda very early on, like, one of the greatest things about the early seasons of Homeland is they would set something up and pay it off within 2 or 3 episodes. Right. And everything that we set up in the pilot, literally, I feel like in the first 6 or 7 episodes, we've paid off, especially in that montage that ends the pilot, like all these little like whodunit moments. And I think that's sort of the great thing about this show is that everything's done with thought and planning in mind. Everything's been arced out. They've got it all sort of set up, which I think really makes it worth it when you watch the series as a whole. It's so I really hope you guys enjoy tonight. I think it's a great episode. It's a great way to close out this season. Obviously, we're going to be transporting the original end of the season, like the episodes 19, 20, 21, 20, into season 2. but this is still a really great finale. I'm really excited for everyone to see it. And you know, it's a testament to everyone's hard work that's helped us get here.
Awesome. Brother, man, I love you. Thank you for joining me on this. And congrats at the end of this first season. We'll expect to see a lot of you in season 2. We all hope, and stay well, and love to Britt and everybody, and let's catch up soon.
Thanks, man. I will be back for sure, man, and I look forward to seeing you soon. The best to your family.
Thanks, brother. Be well.
All right, talk to you later. Bye.
Yeah. All right. So good to see him. Well, like you just talked about, he was, you know, when we shut down for the season, the word was that there was that Riverdale had just shut down. We shoot in Vancouver, and the word was everyone was kind of on pins and needles because it felt like we could get shut down at any second. And hearing that Larry had gotten sick was really scary. And like he just said, you know, it was at a time where we knew a lot less about it than we do now. So seeing him doing well and healthy, he's just, you know, if you're going to make a list of people who are responsible for why I'm sitting here with you right now talking about this amazing show, Larry's at the top of it. All right, guys. I'm going to answer a couple questions. Why not? Anybody got any questions before I jump off here? And I'm going to be back here. I'm going to talk with Riley. I'm going to talk with Kennedy for a little bit, leading up to the big season finale at the end of the night. Will there be a crossover with Riverdale? I hope so. I'm a fan of that show. It's an awesome show. And I would love to have some of our characters go there, theirs come here. And we air on the same night, so it's kind of like primed for a crossover. That would be awesome. Hey, Serbia. It still just blows me away that we're able to, especially in a time like this where we're all, you know, confined to our own homes, to be able to connect like this. How's working for the CW? The best ever, period. I've worked for almost every network. I think I've worked for every network. I'm like 104 years old. And CW is, I think they've got to be my favorite network I've ever worked for. And there's a bunch of reasons why. There's really good, cool people that run the network, and they're really good to their shows and their casts and their producers and their showrunners. And they bring people in that they believe are talented, and they believe in the vision and the story they want to tell, and they let them tell it. And obviously they've got their 2 cents and they chime in ideas, but they're just good, decent people. And I really love working for them. And I'm not just saying that because I'm on their Instagram feed right now. Hey, South Africa. My wife and I honeymooned down in South Africa and have traveled to Africa any chance we get. So, all right. I'm going to jump off again, post some other stuff on the feed and the story. This is fun. I might ask if I can take over every week. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Thanks again to Larry Tang, and great to see him and see him well. And I'm going to post on the story, guys. Keep checking in on the story, because I'm going to post about when I'm going to jump on with Kennedy, Nancy Drew herself, as well as Riley, and anybody else I can track down between now and our season finale tonight, 9/8 Central, only on the CW. Thank you guys so much. All right, I'll be back in a bit.